It's a sunny day. I've got my patio clean. Finally, I had to scrub this thing. Note to self, don't do framing or any kind of work on top of your brick patio before you've sealed it. Because I power washed this and then I framed up the deck here, and then it rained and the water that poured off the wood had sawdust and I don't know, wood juice and stuff mixed in with it, and then that water landed on the patio and left all these brown spots from the tannins or some sort of chemical that's in the wood. I don't know. So I had to get Justin to scrub all that stuff off, and it was just a pain in the butt. So when you're done your paver patio, seal it as soon as you possibly can. I kind of procrastinated and ended up being more of a pain in the butt. So what I'm using here, acrylic sealer. It's made by Arrow in Richmond. Probably lots of different manufacturers of this stuff here, but it's just an acrylic sealer for concrete or pavers, whatever. You pour it on to a tray and roll it on with a 3/8 roller. You don't want a super thick roller. The guy at the store said you want to apply like 2 thin coats, really thin coats. If you put it on too thick and it goes off really quickly, it gets gummy and is kind of a mess. So you want to do thin coats a couple times over. So you want to use a 3/8 roller, not a big, thick, fat roller. So that's pretty much the only tips they gave me was 2 thin coats. Don't put it on in the hot part of the day in the afternoon. Either do it in the morning or in the evening. So that's what I'm doing. I'm going to shake this stuff up, start rolling it on. I'll let you know if anything goes wrong. Well, you can see, gives it a nice wet look. I went for an acrylic sealer that was satin, no gloss finish, so it just kind of brings out the natural color, doesn't put any sheen or anything on the brick. I really like the look of it. I started rolling it out as you saw, and then that was just not getting decent coverage and it's too much work, so I just went and got my little spray bottle, pump spray bottle for, you know, weed killer or whatever. I just use it for water and bleach to spray on my lumber while it dries out to keep the mold from growing on it, but I thought it would work great for this, and it did. The tip clogged up a little bit. I had to fiddle fart around with it to keep it spraying really well, but it worked great and saved my back hunching over a roller the whole time. All right, guys, well, it's Monday. We're back here, and as you can see, I haven't done anything on the deck. It all started probably a couple weeks ago when a freaking bylaw officer showed up and told me that I had to get rid of all that parking that I put beside my driveway up there, because technically you're not allowed to alter the boulevard. And here in Victoria, and I'm sure everywhere, the city owns like 20 feet or something like that on either side of every road. So technically that little lawn up there that I turned into parking was the boulevard. So now I have to rent a machine and remove all that rock that I put in there and replace it all with grass to what it was before. So that kind of took the wind out of my sails, and I just felt like going camping and not doing any work for a while and just kind of de-stressing, getting ready to go in there and undo all the work that I just did, which just kind of bummed me out. So all I've been really doing is kind of finishing up my patio. As you see, I got the sealer on, and I've done some seeding here, planted a few bushes, and got this little bed all ready. So now that the yard is kind of set and ready to go and this grass will come back, now I can kind of focus on the deck. So we're going to get to framing today and work on getting up some of these exterior walls on the little addition that we're going to put in. The other pieces came off so much smoother. Always when the camera's recording, you gotta look like an idiot. Nonsense. Look at this house here. We're up in the soffit. Okay, we're gonna take a little peek up inside there. Look at that. The insulation doesn't even start for about 20 inches. So you got 20 inches of uninsulated roof all the way around the outside of my house. I wonder why the place is a friggin' hot box in the summer and cold all winter. That's what you get in these 70s houses, man. It's shit construction. So, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to put a vent, one of those rigid vent pieces that goes up in here. And then I'm going to rent one of those insulation shooter things. And then I'm going to have to pile a bunch more insulation and really shoot it in here to fill this all up while maintaining a little vent space for air to come up into the soffit vent and go out and vent through the ridge. But that's just ridiculous, you know, 2 feet of uninsulated space. I live in Canada, like we don't have crazy cold winters here in Victoria, but still just money flying out my pocket all winter long. Stupid. So, as you can see, I chopped away a big chunk of my roof, cut it away flush with the edge of my house here. So now I'll have no problem standing up my walls and then putting my trusses on, bring my little truss pieces right up to here for the roof, and then I'll have to tie in with a few little fancy roof cuts, tie in my roof before I can sheet it. And I'm just gonna wing that part. You can see that, I don't know if you saw in the time lapse, but this is a torch-on roof that was put on over top of a tar and gravel roof, which is obviously common in the 70s, where they just put a heavy felt down, pour a big thick layer of tar on top, and throw pea gravel into it, and you know, it would work as a roof for so long, and then it would need replacing. And so instead of tearing it up because it's such a mess to get rid of all the gravel and everything, most roofing companies just go right over top of it, and they just put a 4x8 sheets of a heavy thick tar board down, they nail those down, and then they torch on the top membrane here with the gravel in it, the roof texture or whatever, onto that. So I had to peel up a few layers. The the tar and gravel came up really easy because it was just a roofing felt when you just peeled it up in bits, which I don't know why the roofers would have just taken that off before putting this on, but you know, time is money. Nobody's getting paid to do good work these days, so you gotta deal with that crap. All I did was I just used a crappy old framing blade in this junk circular saw here. These Makita's corded circular saws are garbage. Not that there's anything wrong with the saw. The problem is that the guard, you can see it's all bunged up with tar in there now. I'll have to get some lacquer thinner on that and clean that off a bit. But the guard on these things sticks every time you try and cut on an angle. And you know, a circular saw is only as good as its guard. So I bought this thing and used it for a couple of days, and I was like, this thing's a piece of crap. The guard's always sticking. So I just use it as a demo saw now because I can't handle that sticky guard nonsense. But yeah, you just cut through it with that. Carbide tips, they'll go through pretty much anything. So now I'm going to stand up a wall here, and then first I'm going to go have some milk and cookies because my wife just made milk and cookies, so my day is over. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that's a feeling of satisfaction. Gotta just push through it and stand up at least one wall. Sorry for all the wind interfering with my audio here, but such is life when you're building out in a windy, beautiful day. So just suck it up, and I don't want to hear you whining about it in the comments section, all right? Jeez. So we got our French door going in here. It's gonna be windows here. I'm gonna frame in the sills a little later once I situate where the window's gonna go. Sheet this sucker up, frame up 2 more walls tomorrow, and we'll be on to the roof. So the rest of this video series I'm gonna be doing just vlog style. Try and get as many videos out to you as possible. I know the last few weeks have sucked for video. What's the word I'm looking for? I know the last few weeks have sucked for me getting videos out, but it's gonna get better. We got a good stretch of weather coming, and I've got a new just energy to just push through and get this freaking thing done. As much as I hate renovations, just gotta do it. Oh, summer awaits. Anyways, until next time, guys, love to hear from you in the comments section below. Ask me any questions you want. I'll try and fill you in as much as I can. And yeah, until next time, Samurai out.